Welcome back to the channel. Today I am here with a uh, planner spread video on, this is the week of January the 24th through the 30th, and I am using a kit from Sticker Guru. Um, this is not their most recent kit format. This is actually a kit that I purchased last year. What was the name of it? Move my arm. Come on, move your arm. Move your arm. Foodie. Okay, so the name of this kit is called Foodie, and it's just like all about food. I mean, it has even though it's not. I like that it was it had some at-home vibes when it comes to food, but it also seems a little upscale at home kind of thing. I don't know. It was a food kit. And the reason why I ended up picking this kit to use, because it is more of a kind of springy kit. Using this kit in January is because the weekend of this week on Saturday, me and my husband, we went out to brunch, and we had some good food, so I thought this was a perfect kit to use. So here I am just laying down the base, trying to figure out where I wanted to put my boxes. I had these florals that I had gotten from a Alyssa Craft Shop grab bag that I felt like, even though they were not an exact match, they did have similar colors, so I decided to pull those in with this kit. I know I can't be the only person, but I'm like, where is Alyssa? I haven't seen any new releases recently, and I don't even know if her shop is open. I'll have to check to see if her shop is open. But Alyssa, wherever you are, we miss you. We love your shop and we miss everything about it. So, come back when you're ready. Because I don't ever want to make anyone feel like, oh, I have to come back. Everybody's pressuring them, because I understand that life happens, and although it's a business, I know for a lot of individuals, this is not the only thing they're doing in their life. This is kind of like a side hustle, or they might be going to school. There's a lot going on. So I totally understand if you have to put things on pause for a little while. Just saying, but we do miss you. Okay, so right here I am starting to work on my date covers. The little lace pieces, clear, well, it's actually on transparent matte, but those clear lace halves are on my freebie from My Spoiled Planner. And when I created my freebie, the intent was to create things that, a lot of it, I wanted to be able to use when I was decorating my date covers. So the floral pieces with the rose camellia, wait, is it roses or is it camellia? It's the Chanel camellia, I think it is. I may be wrong, but the floral piece that's on there. I wanted those things to be things that you could use in your date covers. So I'm just using the lace halves along with some floral pieces in the date covers, and I kind of just did those every other day, and then use these doilies from Crafts by Towie on the other days, along with some of the individual pieces of the florals to make that into my little decorative piece. I don't always decorate my date covers. Sometimes I don't feel like it, so I just don't. And then other times, I have a little bit more deco, so I will go ahead and, add something in there. It just kind of depends on what I feel like doing. Okay, so we are, we'll go through the spread and talk about that as we get to it. But just a little bit about, I guess, me, where I've been, what I've been doing. So today we are the day, like when I say today, the day that I'm filming this, excuse me, that I'm doing this voiceover, this is March. Yeah, so that kind of tells you how I'm doing. This is March, and I am doing a voiceover for January. And it's okay. It's perfectly okay. So, as if you follow me on Instagram, then you know that I have already done some spreads that I've posted. Like I just posted my Valentine's Day spread. So I don't do my spreads, or at least I have not this year been doing my spreads in order. And that's just because some spreads I try and film, like I did this one, but it just took me a long time to come back around to do the rest of the filming, like for the actual plans. So I planned the base, and then it just took me a minute before I came back to do the plans. So I got the plans done. Now I'm getting the voiceover done, and hopefully, maybe in the next 2 days, you guys will be able to see this video live. That's the intention. And we all have good intentions. Okay, so right here, this sidebar doll, because that's something that I like to do. This sidebar doll is from Distinguished Plans. Ty, where are you? So the shop is called Distinguished Plans. You can find it on Instagram, and the shop is actually on Etsy. The owner is called Ty. And so she came out with some really amazing dolls, and I just thought she was perfect. Although the day that we went to brunch, it was cold, like really cold. I just felt like the outfit gave me brunch vibes. So I went with her, and I thought she was like the denim, the blue, it just went very well with the kit itself. So I cut up some of the florals, put those on the sides, and then use these little, I guess they're flourishes from Sadie Stickers. I don't know really. I would have to look back to see what she actually calls them. I'm just gonna call them like a flourish because I think it's a flourish. I mean, I'm not sure, but that's what we're gonna go with. Half flourishes, corner flourishes, because I put them in the corner. But anyway, they're there. So this is the first time that I tried Shanice's method from Planners and Tacos of putting the sidebar in the middle of the page. And what I found is that I actually like it there. Reason being is because, as you can see with this doll, she has her hand on her hip, and so her elbow is butting out into the next like column if you were doing it on the very, like in the first column. So her elbow would be into the second, like which would be the Monday column. So putting it on in the middle gives me that little space. I don't know what you call that, in the hole punch area. It puts that in the hole punch area where I have more room. So I actually like putting the dolls in the middle. I haven't been doing all of my spreads like that, but I have noticed that I have a good bit of the ones that are in the middle. And here I'm going back with more of those flourishes, and adding them to the top of the date covers. I just felt like some of those needed a little bit of something extra. And so I like the way that that came out with that. And here we go with the actual week of plans. I'll talk about the plans a little bit, but then I'm also going to talk about stickers. And when I say stickers, I mean like, what have you been buying? Stickers. So I would say that I noticed, so let's say, so when I'm trying to think, when this year came rolled around, 2022, I noticed that a lot of the sticker kits that were being released were a lot of them were like re-releases. So they had been released and maybe they were just coming back reformatted. And I was just like, okay, well, I mean, some of them were nice, but I just, you know, wasn't feeling the urge of that it was nice enough to the point where I was going to buy it, basically. So I didn't buy a lot during January or February. But let me, before I go, like, just be like, oh yeah, I didn't see anything I like. That was not the only reason. I was also not buying because I knew that we were going to be going to Disney World in the end of February. So I was also saving money for that. But I started um I feel like more conscientious about my purchases. So last year, I picked up and tried the method that Shanice does. I have a binder. I put my kits in the binder and I planned out basically every week of the year in kits from January to December. Now, there's a few weeks that are blank because, like, I didn't have a kit for that week and I'm looking for something special. But most of the weeks I was able to plan out with the things all the kits that I had already purchased. And the craziest thing about it is that after I planned out that entire year of 2020, I'm pretty sure I know I have another year's worth of kits left. So when I saw that, I was like, wow, okay, you need to calm down. Like, I just dove headfirst into this obsession and I was like, wow, I really, really have a lot of kits. And when I went through my kits, like I looked at the ones that I had and they weren't like I liked the kits. It was not that like, oh, I want to destash these kits. No. Basically, all the kits in my binder I really, really like and I want to use. So that's what I decided that I was going to focus on using the kits I already have, and not like being more conscientious about the things that I'm purchasing when it comes to kits. So, like, I knew that I needed an anniversary kit. That purchased that, found one that I liked, purchased it. This year, instead of buying a specific kit that was geared towards Valentine's Day, I looked through my stash, found something that was in itself not Valentine's Day, but it had similar colors and I was able to make it work for Valentine's Day. So that was what I decided to try to do. That's going to be my focus this year, is using what I have and making it work. So with that being said, I'm trying to purchase less kits. And I was doing really good up until this week when I purchased like 3 kits this week. However, I will say that the 3 kits that I purchased this week, I really love. And 2 of those kits, like they've been released for a couple weeks in the shops. I just was like really, really kind of sitting on it, trying to see, was I going to purchase them? So, and I'm happy with the purchases. Like, I don't regret the purchases at all, which I think pretty much every planner person says, because let's face it, we love planner stuff. We just do. But that was my thing. It's like, okay, I'm really trying to work on saving my money because I have some financial goals that I want to reach. And I know that I will not be able to reach them if I continue shopping the way I do. Let's be real. So at this point, I'm more so focusing on purchasing the decorative items for stickers. So, like the foil items that we use to decorate our kits. the floral items, dolls. I try to buy more of those things. Um, and I also, when I'm purchasing, I try to look at the kits that I already have to see what could go with those kits. So, like a lot of times when shops will have like a $2 Tuesday, let's say like, I think like Letters to Apollo. She will have a $2 Tuesday where one week it might be focused on, florals. So I'll look through my kits to try to see if any of the florals might match. Sometimes I just buy them because I'm like, okay, that's a good kind of neutral floral that I'm pretty sure would match with something. And most of the time it ends, yeah, I can find a kit that I can make it match with. So that has been my focus lately. Doing pretty good. Uh, and hopefully, this will help me with controlling some of my spending. That is the goal. Um, Being able to still enjoy my hobby that I love, but also spend responsibly. Whoever said that in my God. Spending responsibly. It's almost like drinking responsibly. Who wants to do that? Nobody. Anyway, I mean, I do drink responsibly at this age now. I drink when I'm home, so if I want to pass out, I can just pass out. Okay. So, let me talk about spread a little bit. This week, what was going on this week? Okay. So I worked with a patient on some psychosocial issues that she had going on regarding with her treatment. So we talked about that. So doing some counseling. Then I had another patient who was going to be actually going into hospice. So getting those updates and then updating the team so that we could do what we needed to do to close that patient out. I made some glazed pork chops that came out really good that night. And because it was the beginning of a new year, I have to submit a yearly Medicare report, annual Medicare report to the government by March. So I started to gather the data that I was going to need in order to make sure that my report is correct. What is it, Tuesday? Me and my husband, we watched a couple of this episodes of Welcome to Earth. So Welcome to Earth is on Disney Plus, and it is I guess like a docu-series by Will Smith. And so he takes you to like different parts of the earth, and um he just, I don't want to say like it has a National Geographic feel to it a little bit, but it's exploration from a novice point of view, I guess. Because, like he has no clue like about pretty much any of the things that they're getting into. So he's just like jumping headfirst. The first episode he went to a volcano, and like they got like hella close to an active volcano. They walked up to the top and it was spewing ash, and like you were having a duck so it wouldn't hit your head, like that kind of close. um and then another episode he went to basically like, I won't say the bottom of the ocean, but it was deep, deep, deep down in the bottom of the ocean where like it's black, pitch black. Um, so it was a good docu-series. I actually need to finish it because we didn't finish it. It was one of those nights where me and my husband were trying to find, like, have something else for my daughter to watch, instead of like TV and cartoons and all that kind of stuff all the time, YouTube. Because Lord, these little kids are addicted to YouTube already. So we were watching that, and like, you could see her like all curious, and um really into the learning aspect of it. Because when I was little, um, I watched a lot of National Geographic, and that was because my mom, she didn't want me to watch a lot of TV, but if it was educational, then that was okay. So that's how I got a lot of TV in, was by watching stuff that was educational. So it kind of reminded me of that. It was a little nostalgic anyway. But it was like, it's really cool to see it from, like I said, a person who has no education in that field from his viewpoint. And it doesn't hurt that it's Will Smith either. But you get to see him like from, not from an acting point, but actually from a real life standpoint. So that was cool. Um, what was that? Wednesday, I just, well, I'm past it now, but I had marked that I had an emotional morning. And so I've been, trying, when you're not using character stickers for emotions, then you have to find like things that represent, the emotions that you're having. So I felt that the tissue box was really good because most of the time when you hear emotional, like you're crying, it tissues are usually involved. So I had the tissue box there, and that was because that morning I had went to work and a patient was there, and they we ended up having to send the patient out to the hospital, and it was just really emotional, seeing what happened to the patient while I was there. And I was trying to hold it in at work, and then I just realized that I couldn't, so I just had to go to my office and let out a couple tears, um, and work through that, and then be able to go back and get back to work. And as a result, I took that, for lunch. I just went out to lunch, and so I used the little road to show that like I was, driving away. Bake cookies. We make chocolate chip cookies because I love cookies, and so does my baby. So we made some cookies, and then on to Thursday, I had to schedule a couple of meetings because my role as a social worker also includes basically kind of like mediation. And so I guess I won't. I don't do not. I don't want to say it. Not in the sense of mediation in itself, but like being the go-between and any problems that are going on, helping to like try to smooth those problems over. So I always feel like by the end of the day that like I've kind of absorbed everyone else's problems, which can be really heavy. And when I came home that day, I had a headache, and I just really just got in bed because it had just been a lot. Um, and I've been using Headspace. It's an app that helps with like meditation. And so I like it because they have like different meditations, like for the morning, so something quick in the morning, or they might have something like midday, or even at night. So I just turn that on and listen to some of that before I went to bed. And that kind of helped as far as just to get me to my mind to slow down and to just get it together a little bit. And then moving on to Friday, back at it again. At the top, I used that Fox and Pip girl who's laying on the floor, and she's like, and I just wrote really rude people because, it's amazing to me, working in the medical field, that individuals are so entitled. The first thing people love to say is that, my insurance pays you so much money. And I'm just looking at them like, okay, and what does that mean? Like, does that mean that it's okay for you to be rude to me? Like, if you understand this is the medical field, so nothing, and I mean nothing, is going to be set in stone. There's always going to be something unexpected that happens. So you can never just expect for, oh, I'm supposed to be here at 10:15. We will try our best to do 10:15, but I can't promise you that it's always going to be 10:15. Or the ones who, all right, I'm going to stop. I'm just going to stop. I'm going to get on my soapbox, and I'm really trying not to be on my soapbox right now. But if you work in the medical field, you do know. So that day, I experienced rude individuals. And the one thing about me is that most of the time I understand with my role that I have to deal with the brunt of most people being upset. I have to handle those emotions, and I understand that it's not directed towards me personally. So I don't take a lot of things personally, but it can be a lot. Not saying it can be overwhelming, but sometimes, it's just like, that's enough. Like, don't, I just want to tune you guys out at this point. I've had enough. um, and this day was one of those days where, the patient's family, they really, I just had enough, and I just told them, I let them know that, this is enough, and I will not accept you talking to me in this manner. So, sometimes you have to do that, unfortunately. But that Saturday where we're at now is when me and my husband, we went to well, it's not a brunch. I mean, they do brunch, or maybe I guess it is a brunch place because they close at like 4. So I guess you would consider it a brunch place. But anyway, it's in our downtown area. And so we went there. It was my husband's first time going, but I had been before. So they have like really good food. They have red velvet waffles with chicken. They have fish and grits, shrimp and grits. I got the fish and grits. They're so good. So good. Oh my goodness. And then we got these big giant margaritas as well. So it was just a good time. And it was even better because it was just me and husband. Baby girl was with Mimi. So it was just us. So it was nice to have some us time. And that morning I watched the new Spider-Man, so the Amazing Spider-Man. And I feel like everything came together because I always kept wondering, like, they keep remaking Spider-Man, but I noticed that there was little differences in each Spider-Man. And then when they did this one, I'm like, oh, it all makes sense now. So Spider-Man was really good. I really enjoyed it. I won't, say anything else if you haven't seen it, but I do recommend going to watch it, especially if you are a Marvel lover. And so I recorded a video that Saturday. Wow. Since I've only done one video this year, that had to be the video where I went through and showed like some of my spreads that I had done off camera and was just talking about, my filming, if I was going to be filming, all that kind of stuff. So if you want to see that video, it's the last video that I did, okay? Promise you, just go to the last one. And that's the one I'm talking about. And coming around to Sunday, I got up that morning, played some Mario Party while my husband is a gamer, so usually he's watching like somebody on Twitch playing like Call of Duty, and or he's either watching like the Call of Duty League that they have. So he was up watching that, and I was playing Mario Party. And it was so I'm new to the whole gaming world. And when I say new, like I know of the gaming world, but I've never really played games. So when I purchased the Switch, this is my first time playing. So I was finally learning how to play Mario Party and actually enjoying it, because the first couple times I was like, I do not understand this game. I just couldn't get it. And I was like, nope, not playing it. But I finally figured out one of the boards, and I actually like the board now. And then that night, or that the rest of that evening, of course, was the AFC NFC championships to determine who was going to the Super Bowl. Yes, we are that behind. Um, and I watched those games with hubby. And that's the end of this Plan With Me, you guys. So, like I said, I don't know when the next Plan With Me will be. I have filmed a base, and that is the Plan With Me that I want to do next. It's a week in February, so I'm gonna try to get on that expeditiously. But don't hold me to it. So that will be the next one that will be coming along. And I really am excited for that one because I love the base. The base came out really nice, and so I'm really excited to do the spread itself. So I hope that you will join me for the next video when I come back. And I appreciate everybody for all your support and sticking with me, even though I have not been consistent. So, thank you so much. See you guys later.